Welcome to Impacting Jamaica, where we shine the spotlight on the many but often ignored positive happenings, activities, projects, and investments at every level across every sector to inspire, motivate, and excite people everywhere. Impacting Jamaica is powered by the Philip and Christine Gore Family Foundation, the Jamaica Public Service Company, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, Red Stripe, Kyramed, and Proven Investments Limited. Hello, friends and listeners. Welcome to our Impacting Jamaica podcast. My name is Shelly Ann Harris. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with industrial technology teacher at Herbert Morrison Technical, Mr. Kevin Coke. Mr. Coke set his sights on preparing a student to achieve the top CSEC award for industrial technology and recently achieved it. Mr. Coke is also the TVET Teacher of the Year for 2019. So it is my absolute pleasure to welcome him to our podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Harris.
So you were the 2019 TVET Teacher of the Year at Herbert Morrison. Tell our listeners about why you chose teaching and that vocation and your journey so far.
I think it's a case of more of teaching chose me because I started teaching at the age of 19 as a pre-trained teacher, the same year I left sixth form, which was Herbert Morrison Technical High School. So in the summer, I was working as a technician, and I had applied to the police force, which is the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and I requested from my school a transcript, and a letter of recommendation to join the force. And on picking up the letter of recommendation, my principal, which is Mr. Paul Adams, he's now still the principal, reigning principal, said to me that today I am a teacher. So he wasn't going to give me a recommendation letter to become a police officer, and that I was now employed as a teacher. So I started to teach on a Thursday, which was the 26th of, I think, September, and I think that was 06 as a pre-trained teacher. So, and it was awkward. I started on a Thursday, not even Monday morning, I would say. And I think that was how I started teaching. So I did 2 years as a pre-trained teacher, and then I moved on to study at UTech to pursue a career in electrical industrial technology, with a specialist in electrical technology. So that's how I really ended up in teaching. So I would say the profession chose me, or my principal, Mr. Paul Adams, saw maybe the teaching in me, or I saw today, yesterday, and introduced me to the profession.
I like that thought of seeing today, yesterday. And you had a choice between becoming a police or a teacher, and your principal made an intervention.
Yes. He was supposed to give me, as I said, a letter of recommendation or a transcript.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he decided he's not going to give me a recommendation letter. So I was employed on a Thursday, instantly. So he said, go to the class and teach. Instantly.
So no application, no anything.
Right.
Just
no
I'm
application.
hiring you today.
That's it. And then I filled the documents after. I remember going to the class, didn't know anything about lesson plan, didn't have a lesson plan. And when I just started to talk about my experience, because at the time I was employed as a technician at the same time, and I resigned the following day as a technician. And at that age, as I said before, I was 19, just left sixth form. I don't know what he saw in me as a student. I don't know what he saw, but he had employed me on spot, and then I filled the documents out after, which is a 503 form. And then I had 2 years in teaching because I taught metal work. So I would have taught all the 9 grades metal work and the 8th graders at that time. And over those 2 years, I'd be convinced that this is a profession that I should be a part of. And such I decided to study education, at the University of Technology, as I said before. So now, if I should count from pre-training, I would be in teaching now for, I would say, probably 12 years in classroom. But I would say I would spend all my life in classroom, because whenever I wasn't studying, I was teaching. And I don't recall having any time or break from classroom, never taking a leave. And this is going to be my 10th year straight. So I don't think that I have ever been out of the classroom. So either I was a student or I was a teacher.
Wow. So tell me, it's been 10, 12 years. How do you now feel about your principal's intervention? Do you feel like you were meant to teach?
Yes, and I would say yes, and let me tell you why. I think I have been doing 10 years in the classroom, and I feel like every September morning is I'm just coming from university. I reset my mind, reprogram myself, and I'm a brand new me every September morning, because I said to myself that I would be 10 years experience, but the student who I'm teaching is new. So I have to give them a brand new me, feeling excited about, coming to school September. So every September morning, there's a feel that every child look forward to wear a new uniform or put on a new bag. I have the same feeling as a teacher, wanting to see and wanting to experience a brand new year. So, to be in the business for the last 10 years, and I don't feel tired. I've never taken a leave either. Don't plan to take one anytime soon. So I think that enthusiasm tells me that I am having fun in the business of classroom and a teaching learning process. Because every day has been a learning process for me. And well, I most persons would say that teaching is giving, but I have been learning for the last 10, 12 years as well.
That's pretty profound that you've been learning as well, but I want to have you share with our listeners, how do you remain brand new every September morning? Like, I know a lot of teachers, I mean, not just, who would have taught me, but in my family. And it can be draining even on that September morning. So what are your strategies, or is it a mindset?
Well, it's both a mindset and a strategy. I have never taken a holiday. By the way, I've never taken a holiday, neither have I taken a break. I'm working at school through the summer, through the Christmas break, because I'm always engaged in projects. So particularly the furniture repair projects, which I started in 2016 with the students. I am refurbishing furnitures for school September. So I'm always engaged in projects. So if I'm not engaged in a project, I am using my skill and my craft to innovate. So I'm either creating a new product or working on a new process. So because I've been using my skill, my brain does not give me a chance to take a break. So if I'm not working on furniture, I'm fixing some electrical infrastructure at the school. So my skills in terms of electrical and mechanical has been sharpened every year by projects that I've undertaken. When I'm not using my skills to help the school, I am engaged in an engineering club where we develop products, and we don't just develop products and projects. We develop products and projects using some of the later technologies and projects that enhance the teaching and learning process. So as is now, currently, I am now doing a research on using 3D printing to make machine tools to make learning easier. So I'm always engaged in some form of process and using my skill as a teacher to create new opportunities and make the teaching process exciting.
It sounds like you've really achieved that you are doing what you love. You're learning every day. You're creating new things for yourself and your students to marvel around. And I think that is perhaps one of the key things for any profession, to be able to be learning every day, to be excited about what you're doing. That's a breath of fresh air.
Yes, that has been it. If you should come to Montego Bay, my desk is filled with projects and products and new ideas, because in the area that I teach, we have been seeing a lot of intellectual property, because we teach engineering. So students would have designed projects. Now, what I have been able to do is that I have been able to develop the skill to move some of those ideas into real life. So, for example, we would give students the opportunity to design a product every year in engineering drawing. Now, I have organized myself with the tools to 3D print those ideas. So because my ideas are coming to life, I feel alive, because whatever I think, I can make it, or I can make other students bring their ideas come to life. So that's a
powerful
power.
Feeling, yes.
Right. That's how I really feel, because I've been able to give birth to ideas, and I think that is where my freedom is. And I think that's what keeps me alive, the ability to think about something, go into the shop and have the ability to make it.
It sounds like you have quite a lot of passion for what you do. And, that is what we need in the classroom. That's what our young people need to inspire them to dream and to make that dream a reality. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Searching for a one-stop solution to all your facilities maintenance needs? Visit Manpower Maintenance Services Sales and Distribution Center. We stock a wide range of COVID-19 washroom cleaning and other supplies, gardening tools, chemicals, and more. Our experts are always ready to give you the best advice. Manpower Maintenance Services Sales and Distribution Center, 14 Collins Green Avenue, Kingston, Freeport Commercial Center, Montego Bay, and 33 Ward Avenue, Mandeville. Visit or call us today, 876-920-47215.
Grace has been part of some special moments over the years, helping to make them, well, more memorable, even when they're a little bit unexpected. And with 100 years of great taste behind us, you can be sure we'll be making even more moments for 100 years to come. Grace, taste that moves you.
John, me know you in there. Me want no when light to come back. I know Pinky this time.
Keisha, just like me tell Pinky, give JPS your number and then we'll send you text with them things here. So you can't stop, knock me door.
What you mean?
DMR call JPS and tell them to add your phone number to your account and you will know everything all the time.
You never ask. Send your current contact information and always be in the know. Visit jpsco.com for more info.
Welcome back to our podcast. I was at the awards ceremony at CSEC the other day, and we heard when one of your students said that a couple of years ago, you said to him that you're going to enable him to be the top student for industrial technology, it is?
Yes.
So your student was saying that a couple of years ago, you said you would help him to reach the top of the Caribbean. Tell us about how you come to that place where you're able to tell a student that I am going to empower you, walk with you, train you, enable you to reach the top in terms of your grade in the Caribbean. Bring us into that process.
All right. First thing, I am a past student of Fort Morris Technical High School, meaning that I went through the same program that these students would have went through. At 11th grade, I was ranked fourth in the country. I was placed fourth in the country for mechanical engineering technology at the CSEC. So I knew what the program was from my time when my teacher taught me. I would have gone to university. I would have added what they have taught me, plus my own upgrade to the program. So I understand now that it's really a process and a program. At the beginning of the year, I have to submit what is called an action plan to my HOD. And on my action plan, my objective is to bring the student to the highest quality in terms of the top performance. So if I should share my action plan with you now, you would see one of my objectives is to ensure at least one of my students are placed as number one in the entire Caribbean. I have been placed in top 10 in Jamaica for the last probably 4 or 5 years. So the highest level now is to be placed at number one in the Caribbean, and that was my target, and I think that we achieved it. In order for me to achieve my goal, I have to share with the student what are my plans, where is it I want to take them. So I share my goals with them and they'll share their goals with me. So both of us are working to achieve the same goals. So that is how I was able to achieve that.
Wow. So it's a matter of setting a goal and a plan. And then you had the experience from a youth coming through, and then you would have added to your knowledge with tertiary training. And then you put a vision on top of that, an incremental vision, because you've been getting placements, but then you said, I need to be at the top.
Yes. And I think I'm a very, very rare type of industrial teacher, because I used to teach metalwork first, and then I specialize in electrical. And so I have a bit of experience of both skill areas, because I'm the one of the only teacher who teaches both mechanical engineering technology and electrical technology at Fort Morris.
So what do you find that your students find most exciting about a class or about a project? But what do you find, what do they talk about as being electrifying to them?
I think what is most exciting for them is for them to build a project and see it work. That is just it. Just to have an idea and see that idea come to life, and somebody can touch it and they can see it work. I whenever I teach students electrical installation, students would turn on a light. Each time the switch would turn on, you'd see a smile.
Yes.
Just turn on the switch to see the light. That's the smile. I've been seeing that smile quite a while now, and it makes me happy. So I think what gives the students that feeling of accomplishment is to know that they can do something, and that feeling of worth. And also to move, an idea that was in the mind into a form that is tangible.
So are most of your students males?
Yes, but I have seen an increase, particularly this year. This year is the first I've ever had 5 females a part of engineering. I normally would have 1 or 2.
So how are the females doing?
Well, I must tell you that because they are in a field that is normally male-dominated, they want to prove that they deserve to be there. And I can tell you they are very competitive, and they are not making it easy for the males. So,
I can imagine. No, yes,
right.
Women are going after it, yes.
Right. I have 5 females now in 10 grade, and all. I mean, they're impressive. And I think I am going to see an increase too as time progresses, because I think that the females understand that skill is not necessarily you getting dirty. Is more of mind. It's not necessarily hands, but it is mind that instructs the hands. So I think that they're liking it, and I think that because they want to prove that they deserve to be there, I think that they're going to do well.
Awesome. Well, let's go back a little bit now to Jamai Jarrett, your top student for 2022. Just tell us a little bit about him and the journey that you traveled with him to this accomplishment.
Well, Jamai Jarrett, I would have taught him from 8th grade, taught him metalwork. He doesn't really speak in class. He doesn't have to talk. He looks, he listens. I kind of knew that he was a little bit above average. I gave an assessment, particularly a mock exam, and he was able to remember technically everything. I've never seen it before. I've never seen somebody did a mock exam and almost got 100. And how he organized the questions and worked them out, I thought that he had something special about him. There are some concepts that are normally difficult, and I found out that he was one that really understood the concept. So I think that he's kind of a special chap.
Yeah, you have quite a few special ones out there that just need an attentive teacher to pay attention to their skills.
Yes.
So having taught for so long, having identified those you think, can really make a mark out there, what is your advice to young people who feel like they're failing? Young people who are struggling in school, young people who feel like they can't achieve. As a teacher who has been in the classroom for a bit, what is your advice to them?
I think failure is a circumstances that I would say that failure is a circumstance that most persons find themselves into at times. Everybody would have some experience, but I have looked not on the circumstance, but what is the cause. And I've realized that the cause of failure is fear, doubt, and indecision. There are 3 things that contribute towards failure. 3 things: fear, doubt, and indecision. Those 3 thoughts are the recipe for failure. My advice to those persons who would have experienced failure is to change their thought pattern from not having thoughts of fear and doubt and indecision, but to start to harness or to harbor thoughts of courage, self-reliance, and decision. I think those are the thoughts that leads to true riches and plenty and abundance. So my advice to those students, or anybody at all, whether student, teacher, is how I look at things as an engineering teacher. is to look at the cause of failure. And if we can look at the root cause of failure, my experience has taught me, as I said before, the root cause of failure is in the thought process. And those thought processes normally include fear, doubt, and indecision. Any one of those three are a combination of the three. And your thought patterns can change. And this is one of the greatest discovery of our generation, is that we can alter our external circumstances by changing how we think. So those persons can just change their thought patterns, just to be more courageous, just to be help yourself, and make a decision. And if the thoughts are corrected, then the habits will change. And if the habits change, then the circumstances will change. Those are my advice to those persons who would have been struggling with failure.
Brilliant, Mr. Cook. A great way for us to end this podcast by looking at the fact that you can alter your external circumstances by changing how you think. Powerful words: courage, self-reliance, and decision. I think everybody, from student, teacher, any profession that is listening to this podcast right now, can benefit from that revelation, from that perspective. Like, you can alter your external circumstances by changing how you think. Mr. Cook, can I thank you for joining us on the Impacting Jamaica podcast?
Thank you very much, Ms. Harris, for having me. And I hope that my interview, will help others and help other teachers, help other students in whatever way possible.
I have no doubt that it will. Thanks again for being with us. Impacting Jamaica is powered by the Philip and Christine Gore Family Foundation, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, the Jamaica Public Service Company, Red Stripe, Kyramed, and Proven Investments Limited. If you or anyone you know is involved with projects and activities that excite, motivate, and encourage, send us an email to impactingjamaica@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Do join us again for another in the series on Google Podcast, Audible, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and Stitcher. You can also visit us at impactingjamaica.com.